And here we are. We are live. Yay, we made it.
We made it.
Welcome, and everybody. This is the Elsewhere podcast. If you didn't get that from the intro or the title or the channel, just FYI. And we have 15 spin. And most of you guys know who this is. The elusive, the cannot do it because I'm busy. I've got all these things going on. I'm not going to jump on the podcast. I've been chasing you for what, like 10 months?
Eight
or more?
months.
Because I thought about it before that, and that. What's going on, everybody? I see you in the chat. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the people that were here ahead of time. Thank you for everybody who set the like already. This is going to be a fun one because, 15th and I are friends. We've been friends for quite a long time. We've just never had the opportunity. Well, we did the other day. We did a practice run to just sit down and have a conversation. And this time it's actually going to be completely focused on him and not just us, shooting the shit.
Hey, everyone. Everyone in the chat, big shout out to all of you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. And I hope you enjoy what we have to talk about here.
And that's the podcast. Y'all have a good night.
Exactly.
No. Thank you, Jess, for posting the links. Jess has been posting the links in there. Desiree's here. Shout out to my mods. Appreciate you guys showing up tonight. One of the things is that you have grown so much in the time that I've known you, like exponentially. And then you went and did the whole thing where you're on camera now, which you were Mr. Wilson, but opposite. For the longest time, you were that guy that was like that. And then finally I was like, you need to show yourself. You need to show yourself. And then you started going live. It shocked me to death because I never thought you would. How is that going for you? Your lives. I know that you have a really hopping live stream when you go live. And I think right now is the time you usually do it.
Yes, this is my usual time, and I see a lot of the crew that usually pops there. Shout out to all of you for being here. So yeah, I was very elusive for the longest time. It's just I don't know what it is. I think I'm just a bit self-conscious, and I was like, you know what? I just want the music to be the face of 15th. Nothing else really matters, to be honest. To me, I know in reality it does matter to a lot of people. They want people to be, they want this face behind the music, and some human element that they can relate to. So live streaming was just a stroke of luck. Live streaming was because I busted my finger, and I was like, man, like I can't play the guitar for 2 months. So what the heck am I going to do, right? And then at that point, shout out to a lot of the people that are in the chat, Pookie, Elena, Queen Bee, Mike Abrams, so many people, like I have so many people to thank. Elena has been, pushing me since day one to do a lot of these things. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to do it. I mean, I hope I don't suck, because my fear was that I'm going to go live and nobody's going to show up. And it's going to be like me just sitting there, with 3 people. And I'll be like, man, what the fuck do I talk about? Right.
No, I'm going to say something about that real quick, because that is the fear every time that anybody goes live.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know this, like, for example, I talked to Just Gen Reacts, she'll say the same thing. Like, she knows she's got her group of people that'll come through. But then there's every once in a while, well, she'll go live at a random time and nobody knows. And then she's got like 2 people in the chat and she's like, wait a minute. You hear them and you'll hear them say it. They'll be like, I wonder if the notifications went out. Like, they're wondering there's nobody there. Me, that's par for the course. So doesn't bother me any. But everybody else, like the popular people, the cool kids they all worry about it every time they hit the button. Is today the day that people don't show up?
Absolutely.
Or is today the day that something I say triggers something and then I blow up and people are like, oh wow, I like their content and I want to come back. So that is very, very common.
Absolutely. It is. And I have that fear every time I go live, to be honest. Now,
Me
with
too.
time, it has lowered a bit because I think in the beginning when you're starting out, you really need that validation. Um, I remember
Mhm.
when I was starting out, like the 1,000 subscribers mark was something which was like, is this ever gonna happen? And like,
No, it will never happen, by the way, not for me at
no, it's
least.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Trust me. And once it happened, and
So, it's a big one. The 1,000 is huge.
I agree. I agree. It is, and I pushed a lot. Luckily, I think 16th was just born around that time when I got to 1,000 subs, right? So I was in like super grind mode. I was sending my music to
Mhm.
pretty much every live stream out there because I think that is the best way to grow, your fan base organically. Um, people underestimate live streams so much, and it's crazy. Like when I discovered live streams, I was like, holy shit, this is the big secret, right? And I used to tell a lot of people
Mhm.
that go to live streams and this and that, because I used to get this question a lot, that, man, what are you doing with your YouTube and this and that, how are you growing so fast? And I'm like, well, I go to a live stream with real people, I send my music in, and if someone likes it, then they come and check other stuff on my channel, and before I know it, I might have fans for life.
True.
So live streams are just like, they're a phenomenal way to get your music out there. um
Well, it's gotta be really satisfying for you as an artist. Streams matter. The amount of times that people are streaming your music on different platforms, right? The amount of clicks that you get, all of the above, right? I know that all matters. If you had physical copies, how many you sold, all of that matters. However, there's just something different about being in a live stream and you're getting to see somebody hear your music for the first time. It's a whole different
oh,
vibe.
that
And I'm
is,
not just talking about how all of us watch reactors, I think, at some point or another as
yes.
listeners. I'm talking about as the
Oh, it's
artist.
nerve-wracking. It is. I can't even describe the feeling, right? But I mean, this is where I used to sit and send all my music, and I would just be sitting there, and I would actually be super nervous and sometimes sweating, right? Like, what the fuck, like, what's gonna happen? There's 20 people in the chat, they're gonna listen to it for the first time. There's this person on screen, whose opinion, by the way, matters so much because it's gonna sway the opinion of everyone in the chat. If he says, this is trash, I don't like this, I don't like that, it's gonna sway the opinion of majority of the people in the chat. um
That's facts.
so I used to be so freaking nervous, right? And now, with this is part of the growth, right? Now I'm much more confident. If somebody doesn't like it, I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. I mean, if they're criticizing something which is for constructive criticism, they're talking something about the mix or something, or they just say, yeah, this is not my vibe. I'm totally fine with that.
Mhm.
But if they're just like trashing it, then luckily I haven't been to too many streams like that. Only one, I think, and most of them, they kind of like what they hear. So it really, once they start like vibing to it. Oh my god, that is the best feeling, though, right? Like once I see them, they're like losing their shit, and that is the best feeling. But I think what's worse for me personally, and a lot of people know this about me, what's worse for me is when I put a dono in, skip the line, I'm there, I've sent my song in, and the guy is just like, he's talking over my song, or he's just rapping over it, or just not paying attention, or trying his own shit over it. That just pisses me off. Like that is absolutely disrespectful, in my opinion. That is exactly like if I ran a live stream and anyone who sent a song in, I just picked up my guitar to every song and I just start shredding over it or doing something, right? I mean,
Mhm.
the artist sent, and this is exactly coming back to our point. The artist is in a very vulnerable position when they send their song in. They're absolutely shitting bricks. They're super nervous, and on top of that, you don't even let the people hear the song. And I mean, that is just, I hate that. So that is why
No, I
when I
agree.
started doing live streams, before I started, like, it was a stroke of luck that I broke my hand. And by the way, shout out to everyone in the chat. Like, I see the messages flying. I'm sorry I can't, shout out each and every one of you. Otherwise, it's going to take like 10 minutes. But I love you all. You know that. But yeah, when I started streaming, it was a stroke of luck. And when I did, I had noticed all of these things. And as most of you know, I learned things a bit quick, right? So I was like, you know what? This, and this is what I'm not gonna do. Before I focused on what I'm gonna do, I focused on what I'm not gonna do, which is, you know, most of these things that I don't do on my stream. Like, I don't talk over music. If I have to pause a song to give somebody a shout out to do something like that, I make sure I rewind the song and I listen to it properly, and I give the artist the spotlight that everyone in the chat can actually listen to his song, because otherwise it's a waste of the artist's time, honestly.
Well, I completely understand that because something I actually ended up losing a lot of people towards the beginning was, especially when I was on camera, they could see that I could see the chat. Like, if you see me looking here, I'm looking at the chat. So you kind of see my eyes going, I'm paying attention. The thing is that when I bring on an artist, now it's different when you have a content creator, right? Somebody who's been on YouTube, who does lives on YouTube, you guys get it. You know what I'm doing if I stop and I say shout somebody out. You know how it goes. In fact, you stop and do it yourself, right? All the content creators I've had on do that. But when you have a guest, an artist, an author, they're not used to the platform in this way. They don't use it in this way,
Yep.
right? I'm talking to them. We're having a conversation, and I'm doing it on behalf of myself and them, and trying to get to know them better. And then when they're in the middle of a sentence, they don't know all the time that they're not checking the chat the whole time. So it's just stop them and be like, okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
That was a really deep thing that you were talking about your father who passed away, and
Yeah.
just hold that thought. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so and so in the chat. Like, I mean, and people, I lost a lot of people for that, because people, they have this thing where they want to be acknowledged, and I appreciate and I understand that because I feel the same way sometimes. However, it's just the way it works. The same with the song. You can't. You try not to disrespect the song by interrupting it, talking over it,
Yep.
altering it. Like, the same as when people see a reaction video that's chopped up and you see like a part of the beginning and a little bit of the middle, and then in the end you're like, whoa, what just happened?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, it's a respect thing, and it's the method that you use. Everybody's different. I lost people doing it that way because they wanted me to acknowledge them every time I come in. I can't do
Yeah.
that.
So
I try to keep mine short and
so the
sweet
the
too.
fortunate thing for me is most of the people here who come to my streams, they know that I really, I really love these people. I mean, I'm humbled and I'm grateful that I know these people and I got to know them through music, right? And if I miss someone in the chat, they know that it's mostly because the chat is flying. I can't keep up. There's no disrespect or anything ever, because these people, most of them
Right.
can hit me up on IG, and they do hit me up on IG, and we talk about a lot of things, right? If somebody's going through a rough time, they hit me up, and I always try and be there for them, so they know. In my case, like that fortunately, I think this is the blessing of getting into this a bit late, like this podcast. It's later than when we had earlier planned it earlier, because now I'm much more
Mhm.
comfortable with these people, and like I'm so humbled they're even here, to be honest. And I actually messaged Mr. Smith messaged me. Shout out to Mr. Smith, by the way. So, Kat, a lot of the people in this chat are freaking amazing, amazing artists. Like, you would be shocked. I'm not kidding.
I know quite
Right?
a few of
And
them,
I
and some of them I've never spoken to, but I know who they are,
and
even
I
if they don't
feel
know that I
I
know who
feel
they are.
lucky, that I I know so many cool kids. They're my friends.
Mhm.
So shout out to all of them. But yeah, Mr. Smith messaged me and he was like, I'm gonna be there, brother, and this and that. He's in England right now, so it's like 2 a.m. there, but he's here, right? So, and I said, you know what, thank you so much, and I hope you're not bored, and I hope people aren't bored, right? He was like, bro, you got this, don't worry, right? So, but these people, they all understand. Like, I love them all, and I
Mhm.
respect all of them, and that is the thing with me. I've always been, since day one, I've been respectful to everyone, because that is just how I roll. I don't like to be disrespected, so I don't disrespect others, especially artists. Artists are just like in
I
my
get that.
personal life, like, yeah, of course we 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 bug people and shit, and like we tease them, and friends and stuff.
I'm disrespectful as
Yeah,
hell in my
I
real
am too
life.
at times. Like right now, my drive back
People
home
think
to
I'm nice. I'm like, "Do you know
no,
me?"
my drive back home to get to this podcast, like after buying diapers and for 16th and just rushing home, and the freaking left lane, hogs, and people are just like they forget how to drive. I was just cussing the whole way. And then I was like, man, like, people are gonna, if my the people on my stream saw me in that, they'll be like, what the fuck, 15 is he's savage,
You woke
but that
up and
is yeah,
chose
exactly.
violence
But that is,
today.
like, I am human. But yeah, I'm always respectful, and I'm humbled, and I'm grateful. And this is, I think we touched upon this last time as well when we had that impromptu conversation, that
Mhm.
I for me, I'm still not used to it, that somebody actually took time out of their day to listen to my song. I can't get over it. I
Right?
am so grateful to anyone who even like goes and listens to my music, let alone be here, like at a podcast. So I really love them all.
Well, I wanted to say something, and this is specifically too. I mean, by the way, shout out to, my elsewhere people, people that I've known for a long time, people that I've seen in all the different communities. We all know each other and, hang out, see each other every place, all over the place. You jump in and you're like, "Hey, I know you. I know you." Shout out to all you guys, and super, and no offense, like that's, don't take anything away from that. Super shout out to all of your community that is showing up, because that's real
Yeah,
support. That's support right there. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. Trust me. That helps me a lot, right? It helps, push this conversation with you, and then it also kind of cross pollinates some of the communities where people might see someone they know from somewhere else. They didn't know that they knew who you and they knew me. And like now there's like all these different points of connection. Does
yep,
that make sense?
absolutely.
And just the fact that they're taking their time out, you're not streaming, but I am. And they came over here because you're here. That's support. That's love. I
Yep.
love that. And, shout out to all of them. I see them all. Y'all are going nuts in the chat. So, I mean, everybody that's here, like you said, I mean, and I know I hear people say this all the time. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, you know, doing these. And I know a lot of people in here, they're streamers. I can see y'all. I see Tony showed up. I see him.
Hey,
There's
Tony.
Ben. He throws the beatbox competitions. Like people do all sorts
Yeah.
of things and just stop their day and show up consistently means the world. It means the absolute world to have that type of support.
100%.
Now, I never doubted you were going to get that support because I remember the first time I heard your music and I'm like, yeah, I want that. Can I have it? Can I
Yes,
use it? And you're like, really? Yeah. I'm like,
I
thank
remember.
you.
I
Snatched it.
remember.
I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, I was like, I
Yep.
want that. I still have it in my
Yeah, we were
Streamlabs.
in
Like,
we were
or,
in a live stream, just to give everyone context. We were in a live
mm-hmm,
stream once, and I had sent my song, and Kat
mm-hmm.
was there in the chat, and that was the first time she heard my music, and it was Red, 15 Bend Red. Um, and she heard that, and she's like, "Holy shit, what is this song?" Right? I want this for my channel intro.
I said, gimme,
And I
gimme.
was like, "Yeah, sure. If you want to use it, go for it." Like, are you sure? Like, really? I was just like, "The fuck!" Like, someone actually wants to use my music for something, and I think that's how we met, and it's just been it's been crazy because you've supported me so many times as well. Like, I've hit you up when I have something, premiere or something coming up, and I'm like, Cat, please, I'm lazy at Discord, please help me out, and you've gone and shared it. So, and I met so many great people through your community as well, right? So shout out to you and elsewhere as well.
No, I mean, I just think that we all have some really great people. Honestly, I think that we have been blessed to find some really great people.
100%.
Um, and the crossover is great. I love it. There's people that like I went into your stream the other day and I went in there and I was just thinking about it and I'm like, I know them. I've known them a long time, like longer than you. I knew them before I
Yeah.
knew you. And I go in yours and they're all in there. I'm like, hey,
I'm here.
you know what I mean? It was just really
I'm
funny
here
to
for
me.
15
But no, I
Bend.
mean,
Okay, so someone just changed their nickname. Whoever you are, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Oh my God, so much love. So much love.
no, no, the love is, I mean, not, I'm not going to say unreal because it's real, but it's cool. It's cool,
Yeah.
guys.
No, I'm
And see, I'm trying to be good. See, usually I by this point I've already said something crazy. So I'm shout out to me for reining it in because I'm trying to be good. Um, so for anybody that is not familiar with you, which I think everybody is, because I know that we talked the other night, and as well as I've been bombarding people in my Discord with your music and links and sharing and all that fun stuff. So I think they have a pretty good idea to who you are, like in
yeah.
passing. But for anyone that's not aware, like long story short, COVID hit. He decided, feeling cute. I want to learn how to play the guitar. Right? Like, did I nail it? I think I nailed it.
Pretty much, yeah.
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 Okay. So feeling cute and wants to learn to play guitar, and now he is like he's basically destroying in a good way every single thing he touches. Everything he does, he knocks it out of the park. It's kind of sickening.
Not everything.
It's kind of gross. Like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kidding. It's really
No, I'm
wonderful.
very
It's
I'm
kind of cool
very
because
very limited in my I think a lot of people they say this and I appreciate it. But I always tell them, and I say this every time, and this is not me being humble. This is me telling the honest truth. What I play on the guitar is super simple. It is really simple. Anyone who puts their mind that, you know what, I want to play like what 15 plays, you can play it in like 2 days. It's not even. There's no complication
but
in it.
it's not that. That's not the limit of your artistry.
Ye-
It's your choice as to how you're playing,
yes,
in what moment,
yes, that is.
in what
Yeah.
order, in what mood, what tone. That is something you can't just teach in 2 days.
So that is.
And that's
Yeah, I
all
think
you.
that's just. I've been blessed with a good ear. I think the my ear is the only thing that I am confident about when I say that. Yeah, you know what? If somebody was to ask me, like musically speaking, what are you good at? I wouldn't even say I'm good at the guitar. I'll say I just have a good ear. Like that's how I put it. Because there's so many amazing guitars. Like I'm not kidding, Kat. Like the people I come across every day, like they blow my mind. Like within this chat that you see, like there's at least like 5 or 6 people here that like are 10 times better of a guitarist than I am, 10 times better as a musician. Like I don't want to take any single name because I don't want to offend anyone else who I forget or who I miss. But there's they're just amazing, and it's funny. I have that imposter syndrome as well. Like when somebody says this, that you're amazing and this and that. I'm like, oh man, fuck. So have you seen that name? I want to be your 17. What the fuck? Right, shout out, respect.
That should be I wanna have your 17th.
Yeah, I just
Like, that would be a little bit more, like, on the nose, but no, but here's the thing. Like I said, it is more than playing the guitar, or what you're doing is you're kinda dumbing it down into, people are better at the guitar than me, is what you're saying, which is, of course, facts. People are better at everything than me. Like, anything that I've done or am I doing, I'm not the best out there. There's no way in hell. There's, like, billions of people. There's no way that I'm the best that there is. However, like I said, it's your placement, it's the tone, it's the mood that you set, it's the graphics that you do, it's the whole package. And it's just vibey enough to be and chill enough, but then it also kind of gets up there too. So like you have all of these levels. It's appealing for many people. Like we're people that really like this type of music versus this
yep,
type. I don't like
yep,
vibey music. I'm not a vibey music person. I want hard
yep,
hitting. I want bar heavy. I want angst. I want mean. Like I want all that. I don't do the
yep.
vibey stuff. But I still listening to your music is a different mood. I can handle it. I can take it because it's built different. I don't know how to put that. Like there's no other way to say it.
I Yes, I
I
do.
can't I can't
I
articulate
do agree.
the
I do
terminology.
agree
Okay?
with that. That it's I was lucky that when I started out, the first few live streams that I went to were all like actually first most of my first live streams were all hip hop, and I would just go in there and I'd be like, guys, I'm sorry, I don't do hip hop, but are you open to other genres and stuff? And I'd be like, and they'd say, yeah, 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 all genres, welcome, and this and that. And I'd send mine in, and I'd be apologizing to the chat because the chat would be listening to these bars and freaking, like hip hop beats and stuff. And then all of a sudden, this guy with this guitar comes in. I'd be like, guys, I'm sorry in advance if you find this boring and this and that. I don't want to destroy the mood, the vibe of the stream, but this is all I can do. And I would love how people would just lose their shit, and I'd be like, fuck, okay, that this is good, right? And then that is why I think I've been in this privileged position where I had a lot of following from the hip hop community, and then I have a lot of following from the rock community, and I'm like that central point, which has led to a lot of cross pollination is the word you use. So uh,
So you're like a vibey
I'm
rock
like the
hop.
the vibey, bridge in between.
You're the vibey
And
hop,
yeah,
rock
and,
hop,
and and the other thing, like
rock
what
hop.
you mentioned about graphics and everything, is so with me, this is the only thing that I really, proud myself on, that I have put in a lot of effort and time into making it an experience every time. Like, I don't want it to just be a song. I don't want it to just be me jamming to a song, like, I really want everything I put out, I want it to stand out and make people go like, what the fuck, like, I want to sit up and see this, right? And I'm getting better and better at it, which is good. But I'm scared as well every time, because now with my last one, forever, I I've told this to a few people, like, I'm actually scared, like, I don't know how to make anything, you know as good or better than this. So that is, it's something which has me creatively tapped out at the moment. Physically, I'm tapped out anyway, because wife is back at work, and with 16th and everything, it's like I have no energy most of the time. But creatively, I'm really worried because I don't know what to do, and I'm always competing with myself. And this is what I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people, especially in the hip hop world, they get really competitive with other artists and stuff. And for me, it's always
Mhm.
been competing with myself. I don't compete with anyone else. I am like, I don't give a shit. I say, like, there's millions of musicians better than me. At that point, when I say that statement, I mean it. And when I say that and I mean it and I fully absorb that statement, then the competition is out of the window. Then it's just me. I have to just compete with myself. My
Mhm.
last song, my last two songs, my last video, I have to compete with that. So that's how I look at it. And it's been
Well,
working so far.
even though you set the bar really high by standing up on your tiptoes, jumping and like knocking it as high as you could get it, and then not realizing, oh shit, okay, now I gotta reach it again without a step stool, right? You don't have. You don't have to do it the same way. I'm not saying the same way. Let me try and get this out. You don't have to do it the same way as you did the last one. So, for example, that one was very. There was actual human people, right? Human people. Well, like, you know what I'm saying. There were people in it. There was like the interconnection and stuff. There are other things you could do. You could do one that is more like one that's more
No,
guitar heavy. You
100%.
could do it
That's not what I meant.
with stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
could
That's not what I
start
meant.
flying
Sorry,
and
I should have articulated it better. What I meant is, I want whatever genre I'm gonna make it, because I experiment a lot with different genres. My previous one with Hetriani, who's an amazing guitarist, by the way, I call him Big Boss.
I saw that one.
So him and I worked on that song, which has like elements of synthwave, which has elements of like deep house, but it has elements of rock in it as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm always experimenting, and but my point is, the quality of the song, I always have to match it. I have to do something better quality wise. Genre, like,
Right. Okay.
yeah, genre and vibe. Obviously, I have to change it up. I can't make all of them in the same vibe. Like, I work with vocalists on some, and I do have a few features planned and everything, but it's just time is not on my side at this moment. Hopefully, once I get a little bit of time, I'm gonna start like hitting people up who I have in mind for features, and then let's see how that goes. I am working on something for Mr. Smith, So Mr. Smith, I don't know if you know who he is. He's an amazing drummer, amazing singer, songwriter, guitarist. He does everything, and he started live streams now. And this guy, for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, he takes songs from the indie community, removes the drums from the tracks, and then he plays live drums on their tracks, like on his stream, and he doesn't miss a single beat. I mean, this is the amount of talent that I see. So after this, I have no choice but to be humble, honestly. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on a track with him, and I'm really excited about that. So I do have some ideas, but I think Forever is just like it tapped me like emotionally. It just completely tapped me out. So yeah, I need a few upbeat songs, and then I'm probably gonna come back to it. Because at the end of the day, I think Alpha Tyler once said that I just get sad boy vibes from 15 Band, and I think that's what it is. Like there is a very sad boy inside of me. So
Oh,
for different reasons, but I think that is my vibe, and I always come back to it.
well, one of my biggest mistakes that I made is I used to reach out to everybody, right? I'd feel froggy one day, and I'm talking about like the feature thing. Sorry about that. I'd feel froggy one day and I would reach out to a whole bunch of people. Like I'd go down the list, figuring that I'd get like one or two responses, maybe, if I was lucky. And then everybody would schedule at the same time. And so you'd probably see me in the past where I'd go live like 4 times in a
Yep.
week. And then I would like disappear for 2 weeks because I'm like, I can't, I'm like, my brain is done. Or I'd do like 3 lives and then I'd do like two and then I'd do three, like all within like a 2 week period because I overdid it, right? I reached out to all these people and I'm lucky and I'm thankful that they said yes and that they wanted to be here and talk to me. I've decided and learned that I need to pace myself a lot better than I was because I was burning myself out because I do it all
Yep.
myself. You know how that is. So now I do all my graphics and any kind of promo I do it all myself. All the networking I do. I don't have anybody scheduling for me and then I have my job and my kids.
Yep.
And those have to take priority. So to keep myself from breaking down and like just because I would disappear for like 3-4 days after a couple of those because I needed to just not. I need to not be responsible for checking. I need to not have to respond to people. Needed to not have to look and jump in and say hi. I need to
Yep.
just stop. And to keep myself from being that way, I don't do 3, 4 in a week anymore. Sometimes they pile up, but for the most part, if you notice, I've been pacing myself. I do like one a week. I've got the big competition coming up this month, so I'm pretty much clearing. Well, other than Tulip, I'm clearing my schedule. Everything else, because that's just what you have to do. And you have a child that is very
Yeah.
grabby in the grabby stage, and the put everything in their
Yeah.
mouth
Yeah.
stage, in the oh look, what's this in my diaper to throw around and smear on the walls? That's what
Yeah.
mine did. Um, you got all
There's
the
also
things
there's
to
also the
handle.
factor that this is how I look at it as well. Um, there is an element of having something, hyping something up, putting a gap in between. Um, and my music, like it takes me a while to do all of that stuff anyway, but sometimes I delay the release by a few weeks even then, just to hype it up, because that is very important. I see people dropping like tracks like once a week, once every few days. Like, kudos to them, but some of them complain then later, then, oh man, like my views are not that much. I'm like, well, instead of these 5 in a month, if you had just released one, take all of those views, and pretty much you can add them. Obviously, some of them are common, but you would have all of those views on one video, and people would have been hyped and looking forward to it and waiting for it. There is You
Anticipation.
have to, not only for your mental, and physical, like, rest, take a break, but also you have to make people, look forward to it, anticipate it, and get hyped about it. That's why, like, I do a lot of these things where so a lot of people tell me, oh, you're so intelligent, you're so smart, like, teach us the ways and this and that. I'm like, man, this is just, to me, this is common sense. Like I would not do it any other way, but I have done a lot of made a lot of mistakes, and tried a lot of different things that didn't work. So I did experiment a lot. But now I have a good system, and obviously there's still way more room for improvement. But hopefully I learned that, and you have to do that. Shout out to, like, oh my god, like, just give me 1 second, Cat, because I have to shout out these people. Shout out to Wallflower, my fellow Canadian, Pookie, Anti, Sip, Mike and Don, Jared, like so many people, man. I saw Clay here, Mr. Smith, Lily Pillies, Manny's here, my brother, Cherokee Mommy, George. Like, fuck, man. I love all of you. Thank you for so much for being here. Queen of Waffles, Queen of Waffles. She's so see. This is what humbles me. Like, the Queen of Waffles is in Netherlands right now, so she's there. Live sitting here. Mercy is here. Hi, Mercy. Kim is here. Like, it's just I can never get used to it. I can never get used to it. I can't. Like, these people are my
Good thing.
day ones, right? And I no matter, and a lot of people joke with me. They're like, "Oh, when you're famous, don't forget me," and this and that. I'm like, first of all, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. But second of all, if that ever does happen, that I do become a little famous, Siam is here, Elena is here. Shout out, guys. If that ever happens, like, I will never forgive you guys. Like, not forgive, sorry, forget you guys. These guys have just been they've been there's so many times I reach out to these people, right? I'm going through a breakdown, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm almost at a breaking point. Shout out Queen B. Queen B is here, and these people lift me up. Like, literally, they're like, no, you got this. Don't worry, you got this. You got this. I couldn't do it without them. I couldn't. And that's why I always try and reciprocate the love to other indie artists, these people as well. If they ever need me, I'm always there for them, or I try my best to be there, because that's what it's all about. And that's why we talked about this in our last chat as well, about my live streams, right? Yes, there is a certain element of demand based content, like when people come in, send requests, but honestly, that
Hmm.
is my least favorite part of it. I swear to God, that is my least favorite part of my live stream, because my favorite part is when I get to the playlist I have made from all of these indie artists, and I play their music, and I see the jaws dropping in the chat when they hear, a
Hmm.
new artist for the first time. There's nothing like it. And I play some of my songs as well. Not too many. I don't I don't get why people do that. Like, you have a live stream and you keep playing your songs, because my songs can be heard on my channel. These same people who are there, they can hear my music on my channel. um
They know who you
but
are.
yeah, exactly, but I play like a few of mine. Or if it's, they sometimes, these people, they demand me to play my music. They're like, no, I'm requesting a 15 band song. I'm like, all right, I'll play it. So yeah, these guys are just like amazing. I can't thank them enough.
Thank you, Mercy. Appreciate that. No, I just it's hard not to be humbled by the support that we get from the people that are surrounding us. My biggest mistake is that I tend to go it alone. I don't I don't call on people when I need it. I don't ask for help. I don't say, "Oh, I'm just losing my mind. I need to talk. I need to vent." I don't do that. I shut down and I disappear. But I do know that if I did need them, they would be there, you know?
Absolutely.
And I don't think that, especially starting out and doing all of this trial and error, I am the queen of trial and error. I was the, hey, what does this button do? Oh, hey, we're live. I guess we have a podcast now. Let's go.
You remember my first live stream? I went live and
I
I went
do. I
live and
do
I didn't
remember
even
it.
know I
Yeah,
was
I was
live.
trying to help, but that was not helpful. He wants to know what 15th does for a living in his office.
Okay, so I'm an electrical engineer, focusing on power systems. So basically, I keep the lights on. Um, I play a
Literally.
role in keeping the lights on. So yeah, it's a pretty technical job. A lot of problem solving, making sure that people's lights are not flickering, they're not getting low voltage and stuff like that. And when they flick that switch without thinking, the lights come on. And if they're not on, I have to deal with people who are like, oh, like what the fuck happened, and I'm the same way, I guess, as a power consumer. But
Mhm.
making people understand that power doesn't just magically appear. It has to go through a lot of a lot of kilometers, a lot of distance of equipment to get to your house. So that is my that is my work.
I hit the wrong one.
Driving but support.
But hey,
Hey
Coda Music.
Coda, thank you for being here. So yeah,
There it is.
keep the lights on by keeping the lights on. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah, pretty much.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I love
Hey,
Jared.
how's it going? Double T, man. I've not seen you in a minute. Um, but no, I mean, it's hard to articulate as well as you possibly can how much people mean to you, how much them showing up, even popping in for a minute. Here's what shocks me. Okay, when I put out a video and I interview somebody, right? I'm
Yep.
good. And then it's up on my channel, and like 4 days later, I get a comment. I'm like, they're like, "Sorry, it took me so long. I meant to listen to this the other day, and I got busy, but I'm here now." And I'm like, "That's
Yep.
awesome!" Like to me, that people actually actively go and say, "Hey, you know what? It's worth going back and listening to, even if it's not live in the moment." You know,
No, absolutely,
it
absolutely.
it means
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, I am the perfect. Hey, these streams are perfect for perfect stuff to vacuum to. Like you go clean your house, pop your earbuds in, and listen to me yap for like an hour.
yeah,
It's good times, and I got cool people. So, but it's like interacting with the chat, being able to like bring up questions, all of those things is a lot
yeah.
of fun.
I think you have
I
pretty big artists on your podcast. I'm like the smallest out of all of them when it comes to like, with
You're not.
channel size and everything. A lot of them are on
You're not
tours
the
and shit.
smallest for sure. But yeah, shout out me. I've gotten some
Yep,
pretty badass
yep,
people on, so
yep.
yay for that. Um, I don't know why. I mean, I'm cool. I'm here for it. Like, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
I think
And it's funny, people ask me all the time, "How did you get them to come on?" You know what I say?
I just asked them.
I
Yep,
asked.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
asked.
I think I played the hardest to get though because hear me out, hear me out. You know it. This was you asked me in I think August, right? August last year. Like 16th was like 4 months. There was no freaking
Mhm.
routine in my house, man. Like there's no way I could sit here uninterrupted for this long even and have a chat.
Right. I get that.
I think Desiree asked a question about my guitar, right? I think I saw that.
Oh, she wants to know all about your
Yeah,
guitars.
well, this is my main one. If you can see it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's Tobacco Sunburst PRS. It's the SC Custom 24. It has 24 frets. I love this. I once I had this, I never had the desire to buy another guitar. Honestly, I also have a couple more, but I don't even touch them. One of them is the Fender Strat. It is a looker though, but I don't know. Like once I got this, I just never had the desire to even try out another guitar. Durrell is in the
Well, I
house.
noticed you brought up the guitars on the wall with Jake
Yes, that was at PRS.
because
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, sure, whatever he
yeah,
says.
whatever he said.
I didn't know what he was talking about. Like you were talking about it, and I was like, cool, they connected on something,
Yeah, it's
whatever
no,
it
it's the
was. It was
PRS
a
is a
brand or
yeah, it's a brand. It's Paul Reed Smith. That's the name of the guy who started this incredible line of
oh,
guitars.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
so PRS is they're pretty noticeable, like, easy to tell because of wait, these birds. Usually you see like dots on the guitar, right? This has like these birds.
right. I've seen that.
So that's how you know it's a PRS. But yeah, this is
And I
my
request like cows on
this is
mine.
my axe of choice. A lot of people call them axes. So yeah,
We'll see. That's I. It's really funny because I don't have any. I don't play music or music artists. I don't play musical instruments at all. All I have is my display stuff. It's really funny. This is so weird, but for real, I posted it on Instagram. I actually got Prof's new albums,
Mhm.
right? I got them in my hands today with a bunch of like stickers and stuff. And then there's this message on my invoice. And I'm like, this has got to be computer generated. I know it is. There's no way it's not because they wouldn't have written it
Yep.
all out. But they specifically said something, the verbiage of it had something to do with my collection. I'm like,
That's crazy.
it was really weird
Yeah.
to me. So, and I know that it was computer generated, but we're going to pretend like it wasn't. And I had a personal message. So we're going to go with that. I'm here for that. I'm just going to claim that, own that. And unless he's going to come on here and tell me different,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Sure. Why not?
Feel free to come on here and tell me
Yep.
different. You're
Yep.
welcome to. No, but that's like more my because I don't play music on the fly. I don't take donations. I don't do reactions. I don't
Yep.
do any of that stuff, right? I don't any of it. My best way is to have a good conversation and then turn it around behind and say, look, these are some of the people I've talked to that are awesome and I love them. And I haven't talked to every one of them, but most of them I have. I know them personally,
Yep.
and show my support that way. And anytime that somebody has something that I can pick up and get my hands on it, I try to.
Yep. No,
So I can
if
support them in the best
if
way
I
that
ever
I can.
have
And
if
then
I
they
ever
feel
put out a CD or vinyl or something, then 100% I'm gonna send you one. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. I have started now working on remastering, remixing some of my older songs. I did remaster one of my earlier ones, which was called Loss. And Loss
mhm,
is one of those songs that is really, it was a very, I think, I don't like to use the word career defining, but it kind of was. It put me on this path where uh, I got the some negative feedback on it as well from very few people, um, but just because it was not their vibe. But they didn't like the long intro and stuff, right? But I felt that it was my best at that point. It was to this day actually it is one of my best because it is one of the most heartfelt ones that I have put out, and it resonated with so many people because the video came out really good. So initially I was using stock footage mostly for my videos, which a lot of
I
artists do,
remember,
right?
yeah.
But what I was doing differently was I was finding like I would spend hours and hours finding like just one clip that fits in 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 that story, and then I would like go
Mhm.
and look again and again, and I'd find more, and then I'd stitch it together. And then once I put it out, like I had people like DMing me that they're actually crying listening to it, and that is actually before Forever. That was the only song where I actually, I had a few tears when I was composing it because that is how deep that song was for me. So that is one that I've just pretty much I'm almost done with the remaster.
Right.
I'm really excited. I'm gonna drop that in a couple of months, and just like that, I'm gonna work on a few more, and then probably I'm gonna have like a CD out or something. Let's see. Let's see. Time and everything else permitting. Hopefully, Rob Z is in the
I mean,
house.
you could pretty much come with anything, and people are gonna try to support you. They'll get it to support you.
Yeah,
I know
I
they
love
will.
that. I
In a
love that.
heartbeat.
But I don't want people to feel obligated to support me.
I'm
I
the same
want
way.
them to actually enjoy the song, enjoy the music. Like there's a lot of people I know, I see them, they're trying to be nice and they go and comment on an artist's music or video, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for sharing," or whatever. But they do that with everyone, and I still appreciate it. Like they're helping with the algorithm, but they're actually harming the with the algorithm as well, more than they're helping because they're not listening to the whole song. They're probably just sitting there, they click it up and then they pause it or whatever, and they type the comment, just play it for 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and then they bounce. So YouTube sees that as a big no. They're like, no. So this video,
Mhm.
its retention time is poor, so we're gonna push it down the algorithm. So that's why and this is what I tell a lot of people now. I've connected with a few new artists recently, and I heard their music first, and I reached out to them and I was like, "This is amazing," and this and that, and they said, "Oh, can you send us your link? We'll follow you back." And this, I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, only sub back or follow me back if you like it. Otherwise, please don't feel obligated to even subscribe. If you like it though,
Right.
then I will push you that please subscribe if you like it. But if you don't like it, it's fine. That's okay. Don't worry about it, because I want it to be like, real organic, following. I don't buffing up the numbers just for the heck of it. I I think initially when I started out, when I only had like what, the first 2 days, I sat there and I had like 7 subs, which were all my friends, and I was like, man, this is never gonna grow. Like I was hoping or expecting that, oh, by the time I wake up, I'm gonna be at like at 50 subs or 100 subs, and then I woke up and there was nothing. I was like, what the fuck? At that point, I was really like, I was taking a sub for anything. Like, yeah, yeah, sure, sub me up. But then I immediately stopped. I think after I hit like 40, my first 40, after that I was just like, man, this is pointless. This is not gonna get anywhere.
Mhm.
Um, so then I was like, you know what? If you like it, sub up. If you don't, it's fine.
I am that way. I'm absolutely that way. By the way, Patricia, shout out to you. Thank you for asking the question.
Hi, Patricia.
That's what I hope for, is that someone would say, look, hey, by the way, appreciate it. She said, I'm here for you. She's here for me because she knows me, but she wants to say, what do I need to know? She wants to know about you because she's never heard your music. So we're going to
Let's
fix
do
that.
that. Which one are you gonna play though?
I'm.
I think the latest one.
Do you want me to play
Yeah, I
Forever
think
again?
that's
I'll put
I think that's the
Forever.
best one yet.
That's
So
fine.
might as well.
And by the way, I completely agree with you because here's the thing. I am aware that most people are here for my guests. Okay. They're here to see my guests and they want to hear what they have to say. And I get excited and that's great that they're there. They don't have to subscribe. It's fine because they're there for that artist. I would rather people, if they subscribe to me, are here because they like what I bring to the table and the guests that I'm bringing on and they want to continue down that journey with me. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want people to subscribe just because someone told them to or because they felt obligated or they just, you know what I'm saying? Like I want them to
Yep.
actually want the notification. I actually want them to want to be here because I love what I do and I would love to be around people that like are really rocking with it with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Like a 15th love child from 15 years. What the fuck is going on? I love you, daddy. Oh my god, no. No more kids for me, please. I can't. I can't.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the most recent song from 15th Bend. This is called Forever. This is him on a plate. This is what he does, and he does it well. So we're just gonna put this right here at this point, and we're gonna vibe out to the song, and then we'll come back after it's done. Sound good?
Yep. Yeah, so Patricia wanted to clarify that she didn't mean any insult by comparing it to Pink Floyd. I just want to let her know that it is absolutely no insult at all. It is the biggest compliment I can get because Pink Floyd, as most of you know, but since this is a podcast, so let's talk about it. Pink Floyd is the reason why I am known as 15 Ben. Pink Floyd is the reason why I got into guitar focused music in the beginning. And they are my all-time number one. Like David Gilmour is my guitar hero, because he plays simple stuff. Technically speaking, like and a lot of people who love other guitarists, they come on David Gilmour's page on Facebook or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he was just like playing like anyone could play this and this and that." And the thing with Gilmour is the feel he had in his playing. I I I I think only the only other person who I've seen with that much feel is Buckethead, which is surprising to a lot of people. When Mr. Smith gets me when I say that, because it's not just about how fast you can play and stuff. It's about how much emotion you can take out in one note, and that's all Gilmour needed. Gilmour needed just one note, one bend, and he would like squeeze each and every ounce of emotion he could out of it. And that is, for me, that was just when I still remember when I heard it the first time. Like my daughter was in the car with me that day, and I played the first song I ever heard from them, and she was like, "Nah, this is a bit boring." I'm like, "Okay, so I think it's gonna hit you when you're like 10 years older. Right now, I get it. You want to hear something with like a lot of like fast paced music and stuff." Um, but yeah, Pink Floyd is my all time number one. I love them, and yeah, anytime somebody listens to my songs and gets that vibe, it's a huge honor for me because that is how my brain, my ear, that is how my ear is trained. It's trained by Pink Floyd.
Okay, so you basically just explained simply the reason that you can say that there's all these people that are, oh, they're better, or they are but could be better than you, but why your music always resonates and always is successful 98% of the time. You explained it just then. It's the emotion into it. You can take that same note and someone else playing the same thing, it's not going to sound the same. It's like, pianists, they do the same thing, right?
Yep.
I can poke 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I can do that, but I'm not going to, do it in the right way. And then suddenly 1, 2, 3 is like, whoa, that blew my mind. It's all about the emotion. It's all about what you put into it of yourself. And you just explained it about Pink Floyd.
Yep. I think when I was when I was explaining that, I kind of thought that this is gonna come back to me, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can never get used to compliments. To be honest, it's just I'm just like every
No.
time somebody says something good, I'm just like, thank you very much. I'm humbled because I truly am. I just I'm so new to it, right? It's just it's very hard for me to believe. Um, plus I think a lot of my friends don't even listen to my music. Most of my family doesn't listen to my music, so I'm like, so all these people I've met here, they're like my family now. Queen Bee asked, "What's your favorite Pink Floyd song if you can pick?" So I can't pick. There's no way I can pick because Queen Bee. The thing is, with every phase in life, I've had a different favorite song of Pink Floyd. Uh, During this time of my life, it is Time, Pink Floyd Time. Just because the lyrics have started to take a whole new meaning for me now, and that solo of his in that song, oh my god, what a solo! Like it just it's very hard for me to pin one song, but it changes because I still listen to Pink Floyd all the time, so it depends. Derail is showing so much love.
By the way,
Thank you, Derail.
I hope that now that some people that might not have heard him were here just to kind of support and just be here. By the way, shout out to you for that. Legitimately, that means a lot. I also saw the comment earlier. Just came in to stop in and show support for 15th Bend. I'm here 50 minutes later. I saw that. Like I told you, I pay attention mostly. But no, I mean, honestly, I hopefully that gave you kind of an insight into what he does. Um, I couldn't even tell you what genre. I don't even know what
Yo,
the
I don't
genre
know.
is. I mean, I think we didn't we call it vibey rock hop or
I don't
something? I
know,
don't know.
and I suck with genres because and that is why Spotify just doesn't love me because um, on Spotify the playlisters we're at the mercy of playlisters, right? If they like your music and they put you on a big playlist, you get a lot of hits, you get a lot of the algorithm starts like picking you up. Um, right. Have a good night, Queen of Waffles. Thank you very much for being here.
Good
Um,
night, Queen of Waffles. Thanks for being here, sis.
but
Appreciate that.
when when I don't know what genre my music belongs in, the playlisters are like, they listen to my song and they're like, yeah, I don't know where to fit this. So I kind of gave up on Spotify in a way. Like I still upload my music there, but I don't push for it at all. I don't even like tell people go follow me on Spotify and this and that. I don't give a shit about it anymore, to be honest.
Do you think that people aren't like the second they hear your music, they're not like, hmm?
I mean, they're like, no, they'll be like, oh, this is amazing and this is beautiful. The playlisters, they're gonna be like, oh, this is beautiful. I love this. I love this element. I love this, but unfortunately, it doesn't fit my playlist. I'm like, all right, man, like uh, whatever.
I get that.
Um,
I just saw. Hold on.
with YouTube,
The reason there it is. Okay, I'm gonna keep that comment.
there's a question
Go
or
ahead.
something.
Oh no, it was Mike and Dawn. It says that that's one reason I like CD. Once you put it in there, no more payments when you're dead and gone. Your kids can go listen. One of the things I was gonna say earlier about my CD collection
No, no, she's talking about CD
is
Baby. That's a distributor like DistroKid.
oh, gotcha.
I
Okay.
think I
Well,
think
still,
Mike and
you made
Don,
me
I
think of
think
something
that is
else.
what
Oh,
you meant, right? CD Baby is a distributor like DistroKid.
like a DistroKid or TuneCore
Yes,
or something like
yes.
that, right? Okay, gotcha. Well, still, it brought up the thought that the one thing I didn't get to say that I usually say is about my CDs is that if the power goes out and I have batteries, I have music and you don't. Haha. If the internet goes down, I have music and you don't. That's why I like my physical copies. That's what I was going to say. It reminded me because I was going to say that earlier. And considering that you're an electrical engineer, I was trying to make a joke. I don't know if
No,
that was
no,
a
it's
good one though.
it is true. It is true. See, there
Hey, as the structure fails, just popped in. How
there
you
is
doing,
something
guys?
about physical copies that people really really are into, and I get it. Um, for me personally,
Mhm.
as I kept upgrading like my computer and stuff, and I don't even have a CD player now. Like my car doesn't have one. So it's really a catch 22 for me when people say, "Yo, when is your CD coming out?" And I'm like, man, like really, you listen to my music on a CD? Like I will look into that for sure, 100%. Um,
We want to have it. We want to have it in our hands. We want to have it physically, and autographed is the way to go. Bye, Corleone. I didn't know you were in here. I missed
No,
it.
100%,
Sorry.
100% will be autographed. Patricia saying, I'm definitely going to check out more 15 band music. Thank you very much. I actually really need this in my life. So many people right now want to make a certain point, not a specific emotion. Yes, I think you hit the nail on the head. Um, that's exactly it. People are just, a lot of people, I don't know about rock, but in the hip hop community, I see this a lot. Like people are just like always like, oh, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the shit. I'm like, man, like just let your music talk. Like, and even in the music, it's gonna be like, oh, I'm fucking Mr. Big Shot. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna uh violate you in so many different ways and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck, But
I'm
for me
behaving.
it's like, and I don't get it. I don't get it. For me music is an escape. For me it's not just an escape, it's um like I have specific music I play for like pretty much every moment in my life, and I'm always like, in my mind I always have like this soundtrack going on. It's really funny. I think that's why I'm a bit decent at video editing, because even in my real life, like when I am feeling a certain way, I have I have a song playing in the background. I'm like, man, if there was a camera here, like third person view of me right now with my story written down in a movie, this is a song I would choose to play at this moment because I know it will hit the people like right in the feels, right? So I do see things differently when it comes to music. And that's exactly it. Emotion. There's nothing without emotion. If you're, especially in music, even in movies. I like action movies. As I grew older, I was like, okay, yeah, it's just beautiful CGI. And once in a while, I'll watch something with a lot of action and shit, but it doesn't stick with me unless it's really good action, right? Like Top Gun. I think last year Top Gun was the movie for me, with action and stuff. But also because there was emotion in it, with the background story and everything. So there always has to be emotion behind it. Otherwise, it's pointless. Life is pointless if you're not looking at things at a deeper level. I look at everything at a very deep level, and sometimes that emotionally hurts me. But that's just how I am. I can't just be at a surface level and just be like, yeah, like
Going
I'm
through
gonna
the
make a song
moves.
just for the fucking heck of it, and that's it. I'm gonna put that out. And
Hmm.
you all have to love me because I'm amazing. No, I don't rock like that.
Thank you, Darrell. I appreciate that. I really do. No, I feel you. Like you don't want to just be going through the motions. I mean, it's got to mean something. Otherwise, why are you spending time is our most precious commodity, and you can't
Yep,
refill it. And so, why would you spend your time on something that is you're not
yep,
invested in?
exactly.
I mean, yeah, you got to try new things. There are things that you spend your time on, but you're invested in trying new things, and so then you give it a good old college try, right? And then you move
Yep,
on if it's not for you. But other than that, you've got to be completely invested.
absolutely.
That's why that's why I like to support people because especially the people that I've talked to and I've had a conversation with, it hits different when you get to talk to somebody and to support them than to be like, oh well, there's this random person out here and I'm just going to start supporting them. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
I think they're a person. I'm not sure. Like you know nothing about them. And you're just like, well, here, like when
No,
we all do it. When you randomly push something on your Instagram, you're like, ooh, that was funny, and you push it, but you don't know the person. It's not like somebody you follow or subscribe to, right? It's just something that you thought was cool in the moment. I'm talking real support where you show up every time, where you're pushing their content. You actively go in there and try and see if there's anything that you can help them with. You know what I mean? That
absolutely.
kind of stuff.
A lot of my friends know this now by now. Whenever there's a get together or something happening and someone proposes, "Oh, let's go to that restaurant, let's go here and eat." I'm like, "Fuck that." If
Mhm.
I can't even hear you, there's no way I'm getting to a deeper conversation with any one of you because we have to yell over the
Mhm.
freaking table and loud music and everything. If you want to meet me, I am going to see you at a place where we can sit and actually talk about what's going on in life and everything. It has to be at a deeper level. I can't do that surface level bullshit anymore. I think it's just with age, it's happening more and more. But I've been this way for a long time, um, because if someone, I'm very open with, as contradicting as it sounds, like I'm very elusive in many ways, but when it comes to my emotions and how I'm feeling, I don't hide them that much. I will not have any issue with telling someone who I just met on YouTube like a little while ago, and I've been talking to someone. I get comfortable very easily, and I share a lot of stuff about my inner fear, which people feel vulnerable sharing. Right? I'm like, no, fuck it. Like if this person reacts weird when I make myself, I tell something that is putting me in a vulnerable position, then fuck it. I know, and I don't need to be with this. Need to talk to this person anymore, right? It has to be at that, and that is why so many people reach out to me with the what's going on in their life, and if there's like, hard times or whatever. And I always lend them an ear and I lend them advice and everything because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, if you can't be there for another person, even though it sounds fucked up, people criticize social media and everything, but even on the phone, just telling someone that you got this, don't worry, like it can make a difference. It actually has. I've
Absolutely.
spoken like to random people on Twitter, because they had posted something about self-harm and how they're thinking about it, and they didn't know me. I
Mhm.
just fucking reached out to them. I'm like, yo, look, talk to me. What's going on? You don't know me, but fucking spill it all out. So it takes away my time from a lot of things. I could be doing a lot of other things, but I'm like, no, fuck it. Like I'll think about that thing tomorrow. Um, that is how it has to be. That's how I am. And I have like quite a few people that I can lean on emotionally when I have to. So I'm just passing it along, right? I think Coda asked what my favorite movie is. So my favorite movie, Coda, that is also something very hard to pinpoint because there's a lot of them. But off the top of my mind, when I just think about it, so the favorite of all time is The Godfather 1 and 2. Like there is no other movie for me compared to that from a direction point of view, the story, the acting, the cast, everything except for part 3. Part 3 was not good, but 1 and 2. What else? I think The Usual Suspects, amazing movie with a big twist. Shawshank Redemption. Um, there's a few DiCaprio movies there. There's quite a few movies. I was so much into movies and Netflix shows and all the time. Like I was up to date, and now I've had to let it go. PS5, like PlayStation, I was one of the first ones to get a PS5 because it was short everywhere, and I know a guy who knows a guy who got it for me. I think last year, Feb, yeah, Feb last year. Like people didn't get their hands on it till like December last year. I had it in Feb, and I probably played just one game because I don't have time. So those are things I've had to let go, and I was really into it, really into it. But yeah, it is what it is. You pay a price for something else, right? So I'm music is now like 15th is I think my like non 15th person and 15th have now it's cross pollination. I think that's the word of the I think that's the word of the podcast. That's happening a lot, and it's happening. And there's pros and cons to it. There's pros because it is actually keeping me alive inside. I'm not kidding because I was huge into sports. I play a lot of cricket. As Manny from Australia, he knows about it. Most people in North America don't know about it. Um, but I was huge into cricket up until last year. I was like, I used to think before music. That is what my passion was. I would wake up thinking about it. I would go to sleep thinking about it because I was pretty good at it. And then now it's like, but my with age, you get you can't keep at the same level. So that was my fear, that what am I going to do after this, right? And right at that point, music picked me up, right? And it's keeping me alive. The con is that I've become very emotional about it. If somebody from my personal life is not rocking with 15 Ben, I okay, not rocking is fine. I get it. I can't blame you for your poor life choices if you're not listening to 15 Men, but I'm just kidding. But if you are actively like, trying to make it downplay it, like, oh, okay, so that's just your hobby, yeah, you play guitar, then it does something to me inside. I'm like, no, fuck no. This is not just a hobby. This is something way beyond even a passion. Like you wouldn't understand. That pisses me off, right? So there's a con to that, like, but it is what it is. It's part of me now. It's a big part of me. Hey, Larry, how's it going, brother? It's a huge part of me.
And now I feel that I caught I caught a lot of flack when I started doing anything on YouTube. And I'm talking prior to the podcast. I'm talking about watching the live streams, watching reactors, talking to artists and stuff. And then when I started the podcast, especially, isn't that cute? Oh, I'm glad you like doing that thing. Like, foo foo, it's nothing,
Yeah,
right? It's a crochet project that I could put down and pick up whenever. Not like I spend hours and hours and hours of work connecting with people, networking, trying to schedule people, putting it all together, getting it all ready,
yeah,
trying to hype it up, trying to let people know with being a little bit subtle. So I'm trying to like not like shove it down their throats. The hours of trolling through feeds and stuff, like I only do like 30, 45 minutes a day. I specifically target looking to respond to comments and do things like that and look for new people and then check out some of their content. And then if I reach out, if I reach out, I reach out, right?
exactly.
It's just, it's a silly little hobby. It wasn't that cute. You go live on YouTube. Yeah, I get it. I get that it's cute, but it means a lot more to me. I'm emotionally 100% emotionally invested in everything that I do and everybody that I bring on and all the people I talk to and the people that show up in the chat and the people that text me just to say hi because they hadn't heard from me in a few minutes, people that show up on my Instagram, people that are now supposedly randomly following me on Twitter, people in my
Yep,
Discord. It matters. I'm emotionally
yep,
invested in all the things. So for anyone to kind of foo-foo about it, I mean, it's a pretty quick way to, like, make me choose some
yeah,
violence.
yeah. No, no doubt.
Not because 'cause I'm gonna attack them, because I'm sorry you
Yeah,
don't understand.
and also,
Because it invalidates what you do.
uh,
It invalidates what you spend your time on. It invalidates what you pour
yep.
your
And
heart
another
into
thing is,
as less than
I
important.
understand a little bit of why people are like that because they see so much of this happening. They're like, oh, okay, another YouTuber, okay, another musician. So many people are doing it,
I get that.
uh, that it's drowning a lot of good content creators out because people are like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard like 100 others. They all sound the same or whatever, right? Like this happened to me on the train that day. So I've been doing I do some old school marketing as well sometimes. Like I'll get into a conversation with someone and then when they say, "Oh, so what are you doing this weekend or whatever?" I won't say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to go see friends or whatnot." I tell them, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just probably going to work on music," and they're like, "Oh, music? What do you mean? Like, are you do you play something?" And then I we get into that conversation. So this is one guy, and he's like, "Oh." The first reaction he had was he probably pictured me as someone he just sitting there making a beat and that's it. But I told him no, I learned the guitar and I make my own music now and then original music. And he was like, he was a little intrigued, but he was still at like, yeah, it's a tough industry and yeah, it's a good hobby to have. I was like, yeah, it's more than a hobby now and this and that. And because this is the thing that I do believe of my music. It stands out from a lot of the music I hear, because
Mhm.
it's different. Because I mix elements from so many different genres, so many different emotions that it does stand out. Have a good night, said brother. Have a good one. Um, so I said, well, you can check one out, and he had these fancy AirPods. He was like, yeah, sure, let's hear it. And he heard one of my songs, and he was just looking at me like this. He's like, what the fuck? And now he just calls every time he sees me on the train. He's like, oh, 15th, So it's yeah,
That's
but
pretty
it's
cool,
like,
though.
if people give it a chance, they will, I now I feel confident about my music at that point where I'm like, if people actually give it a shot, they won't think it's trash. If anything, it might not be their vibe, but it is good. It's easy listening, and that's what I think. It's an easy music to listen to, just playing in the background if you want, and you can listen to it. Even though I would prefer if they watch the video with the song because that really takes you on a journey, right? So, but I'll take whatever I can get.
No, I get that. It is definitely easy listening. I mean, and it's back to the thing you were talking about playlists where they didn't know where to group you into. You'd end up in the instrumentals, and that's, like, huge.
Yeah, that's huge. And then
That's a
people are
huge genre.
expecting
It's like
the classical style acoustic guitar instrumental or a piano instrumental. They're not expecting that, like something like forever to happen. And that's why I love YouTube, and that's why I push a lot of artists to not sleep on YouTube. YouTube is amazing because you can actually engage with people. Like these people in this chat, they would not be here just from Spotify. They're here because they've
mhm.
seen me on YouTube. I've engaged with them. I've talked to them. There's a video with the music. There's like a whole 15 band experience when they come to my channel and click on a video. It's all because of YouTube. So I really never downplay YouTube. I tell everyone I see so many amazing artists who only have music on SoundCloud. I'm like, what the fuck are you like?
Mm.
Which time are you living
I
in,
don't
man?
click on SoundCloud.
You need,
I don't choose to
yeah.
click on SoundCloud unless somebody's asking me to check something out because 'cause they're working on it, and they send me a direct link. Otherwise, I don't go to
Yeah, I
SoundCloud
don't either.
ever.
I saw a comment today on my SoundCloud page from like 2 months ago, and I was like, I'm so sorry I missed it, but I just didn't check it for like 2 months. And yeah, what Clay said. So Conspiracy Music, by the way, is AKA Clay. He runs a live stream as well. He plays the guitar. He's a real rock of the indie rock community, because he like so many artists go through his stream and he shares them out. Shout out to Conspiracy Music. And yeah, he's saying I met all my friends on YouTube. That's true. Like all your music friends, everyone, and these are the people I interact with the most. A lot of my friends, message me. They're like, "Yo, where you been? I haven't heard from you in this so many days." And I'm like, "Man, I'm busy." Like, they're like, "Oh, are you just sitting by yourself? Like, are you talking to anyone?" And I'm like, "No, I'm talking to plenty of people. Just I don't have to, drive 40 minutes through traffic and go sit somewhere to talk." So it is what it is. That's the modern life, I guess.
Mhm. Because then people are like,
Yeah,
"Mhm,
yeah. People don't.
mhm, your internet
Internet.
friends."
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yes, my internet friends.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And no, some of these people I 100% trust them. I trust them as much as I trust like a friend who I've known for like 10 years, 15 years. Um just because we've had those conversations at a much deeper level. Um and they know they can trust me with what they say to me, and I know I can trust them. A few of them know my real name, and you know how I am with my real name, and where I was born and everything.
Mhm,
Like, not maybe there's like 4 or 5 people who know that. So, but some of them are in this chat who know it because I trust them, and I met these people I've online. I've never actually met them or anything. So people downplay this, and they act all weird. Oh yeah, on online friends, and I'm like,
mhm.
man, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what you're saying. Like, it's different.
This is why we can't have nice things, because people ruin it, because what happens is people are making really great connections online, and then the predators and the stupid people and the porn bots and, on Yahoo Chat, age, sex, location. No, they all ruined it. The spam, the phishing, they all ruined it, right? So nobody trusts anybody. Catfishers,
Yeah, I mean,
and so people are like, well, poo poo, if you meet anybody on the internet, it's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
no,
I don't
yeah,
agree with that.
I don't
I
agree with
think that
that.
the people that I interact with on a daily are very, very, I'm not saying, okay, if I don't interact with you on a daily, doesn't mean I don't think you're real, but like I know, I can hear what they're typing like in Discord in their voice.
Exactly.
'Cause I know what their voices sound like, I've talked to them. So, I can actually read and I can tell by their tone and what they're saying. I can hear them talking. So, I don't even have to have their name. If I couldn't see any names, I would still
Yep.
know who it was. 'Cause, I mean, that's just I'm like, "Oh, that" for example, "Oh, there's Jared."
Exactly.
I always know when I know which emojis when people drop emojis to, like I put a link in there and somebody drops an emoji, I know
Yep.
who it is immediately.
No, and people just they don't realize. I and it's funny. I don't blame them because they've never experienced YouTube like we have. Like Lily Pillies, Manny, who's in the chat. He's from Australia.
Mhm,
Mr. Smith, he's from UK. Amazing artists, amazing musicians. I would never have my our paths would have never crossed. I'm on the other side of the globe, right? And our paths would have never freaking crossed if it wasn't for music and YouTube. It's just it's ridiculous. And th- I work with Manny on a song, and that's one of my favorite songs. And Mr.
mhm.
Smith is someone I'm working with, and like it's ridiculous, and people downplay it, and I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. This is freaking real. This isn't just something you log into and then you're out. um y- you're actually like you're very emotionally invested in this.
Well, I mean, plus, in order to anything that we're doing, um me running this podcast, you putting it even in your music, let alone your live streams, you have to open yourself up and you have to pour yourself into what you're doing. We have to be open and real.
Yep.
We have to be straightforward and honest. Yeah, there's things that not everybody knows and they don't need to know, and that's different. But for the most part, we're pretty open. We wear our heart on our sleeves, you know? So it's a huge investment and it's a huge
Yep.
trust. I mean, it takes me about 24 hours after someone goes completely in on me over something for me to calm down, not choose violence, and to move on. And then I'm like, well, screw it, I
Yep.
don't care. because I have all these other people that support me all the time and that are here every time and that love me to pieces and would be there in a heartbeat if I asked them. So what do I care what this one person said or what this one person did or like, who
100%.
cares? That's why and I'm not good at it, but I try really hard not to care about any
Yep.
negativity because like I don't make music, so it's not like a direct hit on me. But it's a lot easier that way because it's real. I put my heart on my sleeve. I open up about personal situations, my past, how I feel about things, my opinions, things that open myself up to take a lot of
Yep.
flack for, and I trust people that support me like consistently that they're going to kind of have my back for that, right? Not to like fight for me, but like just they know how much I'm
Yep.
putting into it.
100%.
So then if one person comes in and they're being negative because they're like, well, why are you talking to that person?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I don't care. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? My cup is full.
Yep.
I've got plenty of people that love me. You've got plenty of people that love you. Genuinely, sincerely, after never having met you in person.
Yep.
And they genuinely care about you and they love you and what you do. And they would go to bat for you in a heartbeat.
Exactly. And these people are the
And
reason why I have stopped paying any attention to any negative feedback if I get any. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You can say whatever you want. Like, I have so many awesome people in my corner, like so many awesome artists as well. And even the non-artists, like even bigger shout out to the non-artists because
they're the
the
listeners.
listeners, like I swear, like I
Mhm.
give even bigger props to those people because they don't have any music of theirs that's going to be played or listened to, or there's no artistic reciprocation that they're there for. They're only there because of the love of music and because they enjoy it. It's just it's crazy. I'm just humbled and blessed every time I think about it. um and it gives me it has given me the certain confidence, like Elena was saying that day, that I still remember your first live stream. Yeah, I still remember that as well. And
Me too.
when I went live, I was like, holy shit, what's gonna happen, like is anyone gonna
I
pop
was
in?
like,
And
holy
then
shit, what's going to happen?
people start like popping in and coming in to the chat, and they're like, hey, 15s and this and that. I didn't even have a USB mic. I had my like other recording mic, which was sitting here, which is very sensitive.
You were typing on the screen.
No, that that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count. That was the one before the first. That was when I accidentally went live. I went live by accident because I was trying YouTube Studio, and
That's the one I was
yeah, and
talking
those guys
about.
were saying, YouTube said that, oh, don't worry, just by clicking this, you won't go live until you have this and this. I'm like, all right, I won't go live. I'll click it, and then before I know it, I get a notification on my phone that you just went live, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see people are in the live chat, and I can't even respond to them through OBS. I think I couldn't respond to them, so I'm like, what the fuck? What do I do, right? And then I opened Notepad. And I dragged it on this screen,
Mhm.
and then I was typing there to respond to people, and then deleting it. Oh my god, it was crazy.
It was great. That was epic content.
I was like, this is not how I envisioned the first time I go live. But then the first proper live stream when I did that, I swear, like I was so nervous and stuff, right? And then once it was done, I message Elena and Pookie, and I'm like, ladies, I think I got the streaming bug. I can't wait to go live again. And they're like, you got it. You got the bug. You got the bug. And then I was like, I wanted to go live like almost every day. Like I loved it so much. The thrill of it, right? Like people in the chat are just vibing with you, and it's amazing. Um but now I have a schedule because I don't want to overdo it.
It works best, doesn't it? It feels better to do
Yeah.
it that way. I do not want to go live all the time. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Like, I used to go live and then we'd end up going being live for like 5, 6 hours. I can't do that. Like an hour because I've already worked the whole day, right? I did dinner, did kids, did a whole putting them to bed, and then there's still an hour. That's hard enough for me because I gotta get up at like I have to be up at like 5 in the morning. So, and I'm gonna sneeze like 35 times. You can tell I went and took allergy medicine a little bit ago because can you see it's on my eyes? My allergies are kicking and my medicine wore off from this morning. It was 12-hour
Yeah.
stuff. But we've already gone through the entire day, and so I don't do the 2-3 hour lives anymore. I won't do it for my sanity. I can't do it because plus I don't smoke in the house, and I probably will bite your ear off even if you're on the other side of the country. If I don't,
Yep.
go
Yep.
take a break and go have a cigarette, but I don't want to stop and do that. Like I would rather just talk, and then I also don't like to have 3, 4, 5 hours for people to go back and listen to. It
So
makes
you
it
know,
really hard
with
for
me,
people.
it's the opposite. If it wasn't for the office
Mm.
the next day, or I didn't have to wake up at like 6 a.m. the next day, I could freaking stay live for like 6, 7 hours easy because I love it so much. I lo-
But you're doing a little bit different than I
yes,
am
yes,
though,
absolutely. Yeah,
right?
it's not just
So,
talking. It's like playing music in the middle and everything, right? And but
mhm.
I it's just like time flies when I go live. Time just freaking flies, and I love it. I just love it. I hate when I have to run out of time and I couldn't play an artist who was on my playlist. I couldn't play his song because I just ran out of time. Um, but I love that feeling because I got the streaming bug. Basically, I got it, and I just love it so much. And but I think it's a very good anyone who is on the fence, any artist who's on the fence on whether they should get into live streaming. Uh, I think it's a great tool. And you know, once your chat and you have a routine, so people, the regulars, keep popping in, they make it so easy for me to stream. Like these people, man, I can't say it enough. I love them because these people come to my live stream and they keep me going as well. Because without them, if I'm just sitting there by myself talking to myself, like I can't stream for that long. So shout out to all of them, man. Shout out to all of them. DJ 15 man. I don't
Well,
mind that. I don't mind that. That's actually something I used to be. My friends used to ask me to make the playlist for a road trip or whatever. I used to do that. Thanks to
shout out Patricia, have a good
have a,
night. Thank you for sticking around and trying to find out who he
have a
was.
good
That's
night,
awesome.
Patricia. And there's people in this chat. I don't know if they would like me to shout them out. I saw them in the chat, but someone I met recently on Facebook, because they heard my song, and you know, we connected. This person just shares the funniest memes there, and I fucking laugh my ass off when I see them. And then we just connected, and you know, this person said, if you want me to shout you out, by the way, you can just say it in the chat that yes, 15, you can shout me out. But yeah, this person just reached out to me, and you know, we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be on a podcast tonight. And this person was so, they were so excited, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And then I saw them in the chat. I don't know if they're still here, but you know, shout out. Like people are just amazing, man. Like I think people focus on a lot of the negative stuff, that yeah, man, people are assholes and this and that. And yes, a lot of them are, but there's a lot of good people, a lot of good people there. So Wallflower is someone who knows, apparently, that I have a lot of Canadian fans. I don't know them, so she's always, you know, telling me, "Oh, yeah, you don't know. I know you have a lot of fans in Canada." I'm like, man, most of mine are in the U.S. Like Canadians, just I don't know, they're not into me. So, well, yeah, people like Wallflower and Lori Pepper. You know, it's I don't know, man. Rude Nog just showed up. Hey, Rude, how's it going, bro? It's ridiculous. And people like Cherokee Mommy, like she sends my music to reactors without even telling me. Once the reaction is done, she's just gonna send it to me and be like, you know, check this out. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, somebody reacted. Okay,
Mhm.
let me check, because I do get that feeling, you know, every time there's a new person listening to my song.
Well, As the Structure Fails is another Canadian, they're a Canadian band. They're still, I didn't know they were still hanging out. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
That's them.
Rep Canada, rep. Um,
That's them in the picture there.
oh, that's them. Nice, nice. Uh,
Well, my ring light, you can't see it, but yeah, that's them. And then their albums are right below it.
yeah, Lori, no worries, no worries. I
I
got
love
you,
those
Lori.
guys. They're awesome.
Thank you for being here. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't. Oh, many vibes is in the house. This is another usual to my streams. Thank you for being here. Um, but yeah, once just to mention this for anyone who doesn't know this already. So once I started playing the guitar, I was just noodling around with the guitar. My goal was to um, just play like one solo from Gilmore, and that was it. That was my goal when I started out, right? Um, but then I started playing along with backing tracks on YouTube, and then that is when I realized that, man, I can actually play a full on solo, like start to finish. Like it's very simple at that time, but still I can play it. I can keep up with the key and the tempo and everything. And that is when I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own backing tracks and just play the guitar on that. And that is how I started making my own music. It's crazy. Um,
Feeling cute. Gonna go make a backing track today.
well, I had to learn. I had to learn.
Says no one ever. Oh wait, like everybody in the chat but me. Okay, cool, cool.
No, that's the thing. There's so many resources now. If anyone is interested in learning this, they can actually just go and go to YouTube and see what equipment do I need to record my music and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you have to have the ear because I don't know a lot of theory. I suck at theory. But it helps me as well because whenever somebody sends me a backing track or they want me to feature on their song, I don't even ask them the tempo. I just say, okay, if you can tell me the key, it's going to save me time to figure it out by ear. But if even if I don't know the key, I'll figure it out. Because I
Mhm.
don't, just focus too much on theory that, oh, I have to know this about the theory and that about the theory, otherwise I can't do it. Um, but yeah,
Shout out Coda Music. Thank you.
have a good night,
Have a good
Coda.
night.
15 Ben is my favorite artist. Thanks so much, Drill, bro. Like, fuck. So Drill, I met Drill in Analyst live stream. So Analyst is a dope hip hop artist. He's probably one of my favorites, favorite rappers. And he used to do live streams. And honestly, I learned a lot from his live streams because he runs his live streams like freaking clockwork, like amazing. Very professional, never talks over any song. And even if he does, it's just he's just cheering you on, and that's just like it's related to the song. It's not like random shit, you
Mhm.
know, or he's not gonna start rapping over it. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, so I met so many people there. Like live streaming is really gives exposure.
I'm taking Tylenol now.
Are you
Hope
craving for
nobody
a
thinks
smoke?
that nobody thinks I'm crazy.
Are you
Hmm?
craving for a cigarette? Oh.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I have like allergies and it's making my sinuses like right here.
Yeah, that sucks. Voltage,
And
voltage is in the house.
oh, I haven't seen him in a minute. No, I saw him actually the other day.
Appreciate you, Larry.
He was
Appreciate
last
you,
weekend.
brother. Coolest cat on YouTube. I try to keep it cool, man. Like there's so much negative shit and so much drama in the world. I don't want to fucking, waste my time and energy on that. Honestly, like music
Exactly.
is my safe space. I want it to be good and positive. Yeah, and I'm not naive. I'm not saying that. Oh, I'm like a complete hippie who's always like, nah, man, everything is good. There's freaking unicorns farting rainbows everywhere and this and that. It's not like that. It's I
There's
I
not?
I I I acknowledge
God.
the
Next thing you're gonna say Santa's not real.
I acknowledge the dark
Rude.
and the sad part of life. Like my music actually touches on that a lot. But it's like all this other like noise and shit. I just don't pay attention to any of it. Um, Music has to be from the heart. Has to be from the heart. That's how it is.
I'm in Texas, by the way.
Sorry, what?
They're asking me what country I'm in. I'm like, well, I'm in Texas. Well, that's not country, but it might
Might
as well
as
be.
well be, yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that people need to put I do think there is a place for less emotional, more vibey, boppy type stuff. There is a time and there is a place. I just think that for the true listener, the people that are really like they absolutely love music, they want the emotion. They want to feel you in your music. They want to be like I want to be able to know that it's you just by hearing some of it because I can just tell
Yeah.
your vibe. You know what I
It,
mean?
it's I'm
Um,
gonna mention something on that. Remind me if I forget it. Just remind me about beats. Just remind me that, because but I have to respond to a few comments here. So Voltage said, "I have a cool idea, 15 on the smooth guitar and someone on a sax to make a super jazzy track." So I love the sound of a sax, to be honest, Voltage, and that is something I'm experimenting with my MIDI keyboard. I know it's not the exact same thing, um, but in Forever, the sound of the violin in the beginning, that was all me on the keyboard. So there's so much you can do these days with a good MIDI keyboard and good plugins, right? So that is on the cards. You're the goated playlister for a reason. And Mr. Smith said, one day soon, I hope we'll be able to do a live stream where I can play live with 15 men. I swear to God, I would love that. I would love that. The problem, Mr. Smith, is this is something I'm still figuring out, how I can have a guest on my stream, because I use OBS. OBS is not good with guests. I probably will have to go through Streamlabs or Streamlabs. I will, I will 100% get into it. We have to make that happen. Um, Larry said, "Ah, shit, 15 Kenny." It's I like experimenting, and this is what I said. This is actually an Instagram post I put out, which got a lot of likes and a lot of engagement. I said, if I feel that sound of a violin, a techno beat, piano, a freaking rock drums or whatever, and guitar, electric guitar solos go in the same song, I'm gonna freaking do it, and I've done that. And if some Spotify playlister who doesn't like my song not belonging in one specific genre, I don't give a shit. Whatever, fuck them. And I put that out, and I feel a lot of people related to it. So yeah, so what I had to mention about beats is, Cat, when I started, I didn't even know that in the hip hop world, when they said beats, it wasn't just the sound of the drums. They were talking about the whole, like, backing with the key and
Mhm.
melody and everything. So I was like, they'd be like, "Oh, is this just a beat? Is this just a beat?" They would listen to my music being played. So this is just a beat. And I'd be like, "No, it's not just a beat. There's other things playing in there." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Man, it's just a beat. I don't hear anyone rapping. I'm like, wait a second, are you calling the whole thing a beat? So it's funny how there's a lot of different terminologies used for. I think Manny from the Lily Pilly just recently asked me last week or like 2 weeks ago. He's like, bro, like he DMs me. He's like, bro, like you have to explain to me what the fuck is a beat. Like when they say is this beat, are they talking about just the drums? Because in rock, the beat for us is just the drums. Everything else is called like a backing track or the instrument.
I was gonna say backing track or
Yeah,
instrumental.
exactly, right?
Mhm.
But in hip hop, if they say beat, it's not just the freaking drums, it's everything. So I've learned so much
Mhm.
about, all these different, terminologies that are used. It's funny, but it's been a great learning experience. Um,
I stick my foot in my mouth all the
yeah,
time.
another learning experience for me.
I'm like, that thing that does
Yeah,
that thing that you do with that
that thing you
thing
do, that
that
thing.
sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
thing?
A
Like,
few
yeah,
other
that
things I
thing.
learned like pretty quick were so one of them was that I tried old school marketing. I had these cards printed out with a QR code in the back. So if anyone I hand it out
Mhm.
to someone, they can just scan it and it takes them to my link tree and they can check all my links and everything, right? And it's actually good. It actually works. There's a more personable element to it which people actually like. They don't like being bombarded with ads when they're watching something on IG or whatever, right? So this makes it something which is the artist is handing out something and being like, guys, you can check this out. The problem I ran into was when I started that, I took a try run around my neighborhood, and I go there and I run into a few people and I talk to them. Hey, you know what? I started learning the guitar and this and that, and I'm making my own music. If you want to check it out, and they check it out, and the first thing, like three out of the first five people, the first thing they ask me, "Oh, do you teach as well? Can you teach my kids?" I'm like, what the fuck? I'm still learning myself, but concerned about like teaching your kids so that you can show off to your friends that, oh yeah, my kid is learning guitar. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? So I stopped. I have all of them here, but I keep a few of them with me, and then if somebody's talking about or shows interest, and I just hand it out to them. just so it's easier for them to follow me. Um,
No, I get that. I get that. Everybody's like, "Where's your link tree?" I'm like, "I don't have one."
yeah, yeah,
They're like, "You should have one." I'm like, "I don't want it." Because, well, for me, I hate clicking link trees because then I have to figure out what I wanna do then. I'd rather just have a link
yeah. I mean,
because
if you
I'm
have,
lazy
but if
like
you have
that.
like one main link, then it's fine, right? But
No, I get it. It makes sense. It gets
yeah,
confusing for me.
yeah,
People like, "Go check out my latest song," and then you click on their link tree and there's like 8 songs. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
and then there's like 15 different places to listen to it. And I'm like, "Well," I'm like, "There's too many options."
Another
Just click
lesson
off.
I learned, and I've been talking to a few other artists about this as well, in the DMs, obviously. Um, you know, features. There's obviously it's good to work with other artists. It's always good. You get to learn. You can make something very special. But for me, it has always been, I want to work with someone that I know their music, or their vocals, or their lyrics, or their style is similar to mine. It's gonna gel perfectly together. But still, I've gone and done features for people who've just hit me up and asked me, 15, I need your help, I need your help. And I'm like, all right, you know what, I'll do it. um
Right.
and it's come back to bite me in the ass. Like, I wasted so much time. When I told these people before I took it on, I said, guys, like, I'm really busy. I swear I'm very busy in my life right now. uh but I'll do this for you, right? And I did it, and guess what? Like, half of those songs never got released, right? They're just sitting on it, or they just never went anywhere. And some of my best solos are on those songs, by the way. And now I
Damn.
can't. I For one of them, I waited for like a year and a half, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna use it." So I just used it. So I'm like, "Fuck it, this is mine now." Um, and then one of them was like, he reached out to me and he was like, 15, I really need your help and this and that. And he was after me for a while, that we need to do something together. He's a great singer, by the way, great singer. And then when I sent him the solo, he just came back to me and he's like, yeah, my music teacher thinks that actually is the sounds too much like Purple Rain from Prince. I'm like, so initially it didn't hit me. I'm like, thank you for the compliment, right? Like, it reminded him of Prince. He's like, nah, but it sounds so similar that he's uncomfortable sending it to anyone. He knows some big guns in the music industry, and he was going to send my album to them, but he's really afraid of sending it to them. And I'm like, wait a second, is your music teacher saying that I ripped off like the guitar solo from Purple Rain? First of all, I can't even play that solo. Prince is a fucking legend. I could not even play that even if I wanted to. But second of all, you're saying that you're accusing me of plagiarism? Like, seriously? He's like, no, 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 it's not that. It's just like, yeah. I'm like, all right, tell me which part. Tell me which part exactly reminds you or reminds him of Purple Rain. I'm like, did you listen to it as well? Like, both Purple Rain and my solo? And he's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, and what do you think? He's like, yeah, bro, I gotta say, it sounds very similar. I'm like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, you and your teacher both are smoking something. I was so pissed. I was so pissed. That was the first time as 15 Ben I was like visibly upset. I uh I hit up people who are like seasoned guitarists. I sent it to Clay as well. I sent it to Hetriani, who's like an amazing guitarist. And I'm like, hey, Blindside, shout out, man. And I hit these guys up, and I'm like, guys, can you please tell me if this reminds you of Purple Rain, because that's what I'm being accused of. And they listen to it, they're like, that it sounds nothing like Purple Rain. Who the fuck said that, right? I'm like, well, long story, but this is what happens, and I'm really pissed. And they're like, yeah, you're right to be pissed. It sounds nothing like it. Uh, so then I went back to this guy and I said, you know what? Don't use it. Don't use my solo. Just drop it, and I'll use it. I'll use it for my own. He's like, no, 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 bro, no, don't be pissed. I'll use it. I'm like, no, and fuck it. But then he went ahead and he put it on his EP, and then I didn't promote it or anything for him. I didn't even post it anywhere. I think Elena found it somewhere, and then Elena was like, "What the fuck? You didn't tell us you were on this song?" And I'm like, "I don't give a shit anymore." But I don't wish him any ill will. He's a great musician, great artist. So, but these are things that taught me lessons that, first of all, like the vibe has to be there because of my ear, because I play by ear. If my brain is not vibing with it, I cannot play the guitar on it. I just can't. I'm
Right.
incapable because I'm not a pro. Pro musicians, they can do it. I can't. Um, and the second is, a lot of people told me that you should start charging for features, and I'm like, man, I I really should, because I have given that advice to a few people as well, by the way. But they're like amazing guitarists, right? So for them it makes sense. And they've been asked, they get asked for a feature every week. So to these people I say, bro, like, you're wasting your souls because this person didn't even mix it properly and didn't even take your input on it. So those people, like, for them it has to be like, if somebody pays for it, they're going to be serious about it. um but
Right.
at the same time, someone like Sailor Your Love, who I always give a shout out, amazing singer, vocalist, great person, she never talked to me about charging me anything for her beautiful voice on my song, right? So then I'm like, man, I don't know, like, it's gonna be hard for me to verbalize it that, okay, I'm charging for features, but not charging my friends. But then a lot of people are gonna say, "Well, I thought you were my friend." I'm be like, no. I don't know. It's just a very catch-22 situation.
Your friends would know
Yeah,
better.
yeah. Like Mr. Smith, like,
They'd support.
classic
They would
example.
support if they needed, if that's what
Classic
you need to
example,
do. I
Mr.
mean,
Smith sent me his backing track. Like, he was like, "Okay, 15, I have to share something with you. Let me know. Like, I think you would be good on it." Right? I was fucking nervous because of two reasons. One, it's Mr. fucking Smith, like the icon. I call him the icon, and I give these titles in my live stream to people. So he is the icon, right? So I was like, fuck, like, this is gonna be. I don't know how complex it's gonna be. Um, but my second fear was, uh, am I gonna be, like, am I gonna be able to vibe with it? Because I don't want to tell him, man, that, this doesn't work for me. It's a totally different vibe because I can't play, like, hard rock stuff. He
mhm.
sends me this track and it is exactly my vibe. 100% my vibe. Like, I listened to it and I'm like, "Oh fuck, let me go pick up the guitar," right? So it's natural. That makes things easier for me as well, because I'm limited with time. I have to work on my music as well. And this is what I tell a lot of people, right? Like, I have to focus on my music as well at the end of the day. If I'm just doing features, then I don't have time. So, I tell people, don't get offended if I can't work with you on a song. It's not because I don't like you as an artist. It's just different. It's just something I can't visualize a solo on. And Mr. Smith is saying, I had a feeling. Yeah, I don't call you the icon for no reason.
Mhm. Well, I'm definitely. We were about hit 2 hours at this point.
Yo, I told you, Kat, like, that's my problem. I can stay live for like forever.
I can't.
Yeah, but no, I think so many people dropped in. If somebody has like any specific questions they want to ask before we end, like, we can
That's what I was
we can
about to
try
say. If
and
anybody
set
has any
the
questions, I know one person wants you to play live. I know that. I think somebody asked, "Why not the wall?" Is your favorite song? But you said it was at this moment in time. That's
time.
the one that is kind
Time
of
is
your
my
favorite.
favorite these days, yes, and it has been
Mhm.
for the last little while because of the lyrics. Pookie's like, until 16 wakes up at least. He always wakes up, Pookie, when I'm done with the stream and I go and lie down and I'm just in that zone where I'm about to pass out. That's when he wakes up.
He's
Yeah,
waiting. He's like,
yeah.
hmm.
Um,
He's still awake. Never mind.
exactly.
Mhm.
I think I saw some.
I'm
Okay,
reading through the chat too.
nobody has any questions. I think we can call it a night. It's really good.
No, I think it's been an amazing conversation. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you coming on with me, as well as all of your community for showing up in mass and sticking around the
Yeah,
entire
all good.
time because they rock with you
The
that much.
15
I
the
mean, that's
15 Ben
amazing.
fam is one of the best, honestly. I'm biased. I'm biased,
Absolutely.
but I'm still I'm this is a very logical statement and a very true statement. They're amazing.
No, they absolutely are, and I've been in there myself, and I can tell. Shout out to my mods for being here. Appreciate you guys, I really
Yeah.
do. Um, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I think we covered most of the questions that I had, which were basically kind of, it had to do with the emotion that you put into it. I mean, acknowledging that and kind of getting into those discussions. So I'm thrilled, honestly. You want to join a rap competition? Can you rap?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm. I'm kidding.
So that brings me to that's a whole other deep conversation, Kat. That's gonna be like part two or something. I can
You
I can
can.
rap, but not in English. Not as good. Let's just I've added
No, I
a
get it.
whole
No.
new cloud of mystery to this whole thing. I can
Ooh.
write lyrics, I can write really nasty diss tracks, which is very surprising to a lot of people, but I can write really hard hitting diss tracks without going
It's
below the
always the
belt.
quiet ones.
Without going below the belt.
It's always the quiet ones.
Yep, and it's but yeah, rap is I don't know. It's just something because the last 22 years I've been listening to guitar focused music so much that it's just I think I've grown up and everything inside me has grown with that, right? So rap doesn't come
Mhm.
naturally to me. Um, Jared said he's like an onion. So many.
I thought he meant you make me cry.
Sorry, what? Who said it making cry? Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
That's
it's
a good
just like an
point.
onion.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I do make people cry, but out of powerful emotions, not because I make them sad. And if I do make them sad, my music does make them sad. Please know that I was as sad when I was making that song. That is, yeah.
Good point. Oh, there he is. Play live. Play live. Play live.
I can't because of my DAW is because I my amp is just it's been off for like a year. I haven't turned the amp on for a year because I can't make noise over here. And if I play on the amp and the mic isn't close to it, then I have to turn it up, and then 16th is gonna be up. And then my
Mm-hmm.
through my DAW, I can only play on OBS, which I do on my live streams. That's something I have to figure out where I can just go on any live and just play live. Um, okay, so Cherokee Mommy has a question. Besides your influences and the indie community, what is your go-to chill music? Oh, besides my influences and the indie community, I would say 15th Ben. No, I'm kidding. Uh, I think I got into deep electronic music, not like trap and stuff with like heavy bass and stuff. A lot of vibey, like casual, chilled out beat, or you can call it lounge music as well, but it's a little harder than lounge music and a little bit more catchy than lounge music. That is what I listen to, but otherwise, like I don't listen to a lot of hard rock anymore. Like sometimes I do. Sometimes in the car, I will just fucking crank it up, and then I'll be listening to it and just having fun. But my chill music is other than I mean, if you've taken pretty much 90% out with my influences and the indie community, I would say deep house, not even deep house, deep electronic music. I suck at genres. I can't wrap my head around it. He listens to his own music while looking at himself in the mirror. I do okay, so I do listen to a lot of my music, but there's a reason behind it. Because every time I listen, I catch something, and I'm trying to say, okay, so next time I am not going to do this. I'm going to do something differently, or there's room for remixing or remastering this song or remaking it. That is why I listen to a lot of my music, and I mean it's easy on the ears. So hi Brooklyn lady, people are still popping in, cat. I think I might have to.
I know.
I think I might have to go live for an hour.
You should.
I don't know.
Sincerely, you should.
Yeah, I mean everything is set up. I'll just have to set OBS up and everything. But I promised.
Does everybody want him to go live on his channel?
I usually end at like
I'm just
midnight
waiting because I
after
know what
mid.
they're gonna say.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what people say. If people are tired, sleepy, then we
There you
can
go.
just do it next week. That's fine. I can chill for like an hour on a live stream. Um, won't be playing too much music because I've promised a lot of people that I'm gonna play their music on my next live stream. I don't want to play and then not have. Okay, I mean
There you
Queen
go.
Bee, many vibes. I gotta do it now.
Love you back,
I
man.
gotta do it now. Antis,
No, see, there you go.
Pookie. Uh,
As if we'd say no. Exactly. That's what I was just like, I'll wait.
I was like, okay, they'll say, well, if they didn't, okay, they could have said nothing, and that would have been the hint for me because they're too kind to say no, fuck that, and I'm too sleepy or whatever. But okay, Darrell is saying 15. What artists do you like to work with next? Okay, so um, I do plan on working with a few that I've already worked with. So Rice Records and Sailor Your Love are on the top of that list, obviously. Um, and then other than the Mr. Smith feature that's already in the works, um, I do want to work with Lala Love. She has a beautiful voice. Um, and she like we did have this conversation and she said that yeah 15 anytime you want, send me a beat and I'll put a hook on it. And I'm like, no, I'm not letting you off that easy. You're not just putting a hook, you're singing a whole song. Like your voice deserves that. It has a full song, with the proper verse and chorus and everything. So Lala is the one on my list. um Other than that,
Night
I do
Mike.
have, sorry, go ahead.
I said night Mike. Thanks for coming through.
Oh, all right. It's actually Dawn. Mike and Dawn. So Dawn is usually the one.
Oh,
Mike's her husband, and
night
he's
Dawn.
yeah, he's probably playing the guitar or asleep. Have a good one, Dawn. Um, so yeah, Lala Love is the first name that comes to mind after Sailor, Your Love, and Rice. Just because I've worked with them, and they're Sailor Your Love is someone I give a shout out every freaking time that her name comes up. She is one of my favorite people, like top up there. My favorite people in the indie community. She is so humble, so amazing. I can't shout out her name enough. So if you haven't heard Sailor Your Love, like you guys really need to check it out. Okay. Um,
When you get set up, we'll get off
all right.
here. You get set up and you go live on your
All
channel.
right.
I'm gonna go see if my kid's still up and give her a
All
hug.
right. Okay.
And thank you so much for being here. I always have a blast talking to you, whether it's in DMs, whether it's talking about Skechers, whether it's talking about anything under the
Yeah.
sun.
Same here.
And I appreciate you taking the time to exclusively come on here and talk to me and bring your community with you. I think we've all had a great time. And you definitely need to go live and hang out with your community and in your space. And I'll try and pop in there in a minute if I can get it
That's
to
fine.
come
That's
up,
fine. No
which I will.
obligation to anyone. Whoever can pop in, sure. Like I would love
Of
it.
course.
But one last thing. Of course, thank you
Mhm.
for having me on this, cat. Like this was a long time coming, and I wish it could have happened sooner. But as we discussed during this podcast, it's the perfect time for this to happen. And yeah, hope to hopefully one day when I'm a little bit in the upper area somewhere, I will still
Mhm.
love to drop by here and obviously I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who showed up. The 15 band fam is one of the best in the community, and I love you guys. And one last thing, I am gonna go live, but it's gonna be very spur of the moment. So if you guys can share it out when I go live, because I don't even have time to share it out, I'd appreciate it. It's gonna be a short stream, not too long. Hopefully you enjoy it. All right.
Okay. Well, we're going to get out of here, and you guys just wait for him to go live on his channel. Make sure you share it out, drop the links, drop a comment below if you get a second, if you feel like it. I would really appreciate that. And everybody go check him out later or in a
Yep.
minute
Thank you very much, guys. See you.
or 5.
Have a good one.
I'll see you guys
Yep.
like next time.
Have a good night.